current Chelsea side, I mean, there's been a lot of talk, especially after the weekend, about Moises Caicedo, whether he's the best midfield player in the Premier League at the moment. I mean, he's not your style of player, but I mean, how good is he? He's got to be up there knocking on the door of the best midfield player.
I think he's not. He's certainly knocking on the door, and maybe possibly, he could be the number one, because I remember watching him at Brighton, and I thought to myself, between the two boxes, I think he's the best midfielder in the world. In the modern game, where so much of it's about patterns of play, and sort of winning yardage, breaking the lines, he's the best at that, breaking up play. He's got great technique, and and I thought, but can he score goals? And now he's adding goals into his game, and also in the other end of the picture, he's becoming more of a leader. I think he's the most important player at Chelsea. In terms of, if we had a cup final tomorrow, I'd want his name on the team sheet before anyone else. I think he's brilliant, and that 100 million now is looking like a snip. Yeah,
it's amazing, because I agree with you, but I was critical of Caicedo and Fernandes for a period there, because I don't think they were knitting together. I don't think Chelsea were getting value for money, but particularly Caicedo now, he looks a different level. But where are we with Chelsea, Joe? Because I mean, Jeff and I talk about him, I'm talking about him again today. I was there last week, and they were beaten by a very good Sunderland side. A hastening ad, but there just seems to me a lack of consistency with Chelsea. On their day, more than capable of beating MD in a match for MD, but I just don't think there's that level of consistency that's required to win league.
Yeah, no, I agree, Al. I mean, obviously, I'm the Chelsea pundit now, so we'll do all the games. So you get asked questions that you don't want to feel like a broken record. I understand when you speak to the owners, and what they do is they've tried to change the financial model of Chelsea into a more sustainable one. So, under Roman, it was right. We are going to sign the best possible players we can get in the areas of the team that we need to make our team better, to win every trophy we're going for. That was the goal. That was the North Star. That was what we were doing. And everyone knew that. And also, on the flip side of that, if you didn't win games, the manager was going to be on his bike. You knew that as well as players. So you played under that pressure. Now, for whatever reason, they've gone down this road where they've gone, right, we need to be more financially sustainable. So we need, they're looking at players as assets as well, as just, rather than like what Mikel Arteta's doing at Arsenal, I think, which is like, rather than, right, we're going to build this team over a course of a year, right, I need a centre-half to go next to Saliba, I need a right-back, and then cover at left-back, and they buy it, and I think that's the best way to build a football club, because it's the easiest way to build a football club. Everything comes from what the team's doing. So with Chelsea, I think they're making mistakes, and, they're having these little blips after great games, and I've been banging the drum, and I said, that's what you will get with young players. Right, you will get that. We've all been there. We've all made mistakes, and I've always said you can do that financial model, but why will it not hurt putting 2 or 3 senior players? You might have to pay them a little bit more money, who can really drive the dressing room, help the coaching staff, and I think of all of them lessons I learned as a footballer from playing with people like, I'm trying to think, like Stuart Pearce at West Ham, Nigel Winterburn at West Ham, Marcel when I went into Chelsea, Seba Veron. These little pearls of wisdom you get on the pitch in action. Them lessons are often, that's like 6 months. I played a game, I don't know if I said it, talks about in the book, but I played a game where I played left of a 4-4-2 in front of Stuart Pearce, and he literally had me on the PlayStation remote, was talking me through the game. Yeah. And I learnt more in that game than 3 years of coaching. Yeah, and I don't know why. Maybe that's just the way I would took things on board. But that's what I've been saying to the Chelsea. If you want to go to that next level, you need to get 2 or 3 players in and around that group to help the coaching staff and push them forward. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have blips like the Sunderland thing, and it's going to be consistent.
Amazing. Joe, it's amazing, man. And you're the kind of first guy I've heard kind of go down that line. Because I've said for years, I think arguably your most important muscle in the football pitch is your tongue. Yeah, right. I think you've got to pass on information. You've got to be loud. You've got to be noisy. You've got to, you've got to encourage. And I just think they're quieter places nowadays. And you've kind of backed up there yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the nearest they've got to that, isn't it? Is Reece James, and he's still a young man himself.
Yeah, yeah. And Reece is young, and I don't know Reece. I know Reece a little bit. I don't know him well, but I don't know if he's a real imposing character. And sometimes leading isn't about imposing, Tony Adams shouting and pushing that type of lead. Sometimes it can be in a difficult moment in a game. You're at Stamford Bridge, you're losing to Sunderland, you get lots of possession, and you're seeing maybe like a winger's getting a little bit anxious and trying to do it too early. A senior player might just be, "Oh, you do it simple," or "You need to run in behind more." Like just that game knowledge, which you could have Pep Guardiola, Bill Shankly, Alex Ferguson, and if they're standing on the side of a pitch with 50,000 people, and there's something that needs to be said to the left winger on the other side, you might need someone a little bit of a bit of nous in there.
And we're coming to another break. I just want to ask you quickly, though, before we do, Chelsea are doing this without Cole Palmer at the moment. Does he fit the bill? Does he fit into the luxury player? Do you see a little bit of you in him?
I love Cole Palmer. I love players growing up. Gaza was my favourite player, and I love that type of player. And all fans like. And if Cole Palmer's playing on any channel in any game, you're watching it because he's got that attraction. And they've done really well to win the games they have without him, because 12 months ago Chelsea wouldn't have done. So there has been an improvement there.